Hey, I just don't have time to fix my hair, but I thought it'd be very appropriate to make a video about Asian issues, and this is gonna be about Asian issues. In case you see, it's very hard for me to breathe. I think I caught COVID-19 from some lower South Indian guy. So I'm gonna answer some of your questions the best as I can. The best as I can. I don't have the same lung capacity as before. All right, so the very first question, let's look it up. So somebody wrote me this 1 day ago, okay? Bidu. I'll answer your question. So is Asia rising in the future? Asia is going to dominate the planet, especially China and India. The Asian media is rising as well. Do you think they'll improve our image with Asian men a lot? K-pop seems to be helping Asian men's image, plus Korean film industry is rising and recently won the Oscars. So the very first question is, to extent to, do you think that Western media has damaged Asian men? So these are like two questions of the same thing. So is it true that the media has damaged Asian men and their image? The answer is 100% yes. So who really owns the media that caused all this? Sorry, I didn't have time to shave. I just sort of was going to go on Facebook Live and I got the wrong infield to analyze, and I just went here. So the first question is, does the media affect Asian men? Don't mind me dressing like a K-pop guy. I forgot to shave at one time. It looks kind of funny, but yes, it has affected Asian men. The media has affected Asian men. So what is happening in the media that is happening is that the media has emasculated Asian men. They have made Asian men seem like they are undateable. So that's the first thing. Oh, there's two people went here and two people disappeared. So I didn't plan this. I'm just going to speak to you directly. I didn't plan this. The truth is, the Jewish media is responsible for putting us on the chopping block for our sexual market value. This is what people don't want to hear. There's about 16 to 20 Jewish companies, billionaires, that in the past, the Jews were the ones who were, SMV, their livelihood. They were the ones who were enslaved by the Germans. So they were the ones who were enslaved. What happened was the smartest Jews have all left the country, and they have slaughtered more Jews that are dumb. So they now are an evolution sort of race. They have evolved to the smartest people on earth. And I'm the first one in the world to say it. Even as a Chinese, even though I'm on a genius level, and I have a higher IQ than Elon Musk and Albert Einstein, doesn't matter. Jewish are smarter than we are. They have owned half of the government. They have owned half of the media. All the media companies are Jewish. They're all owned by Jewish billionaires. That's why they have weird last names. That's the truth. So basically, after the Jewish been slaughtered, and yes, I am trained in Israeli Krav Maga, military martial arts. So I know this culture very well. This culture is the one enslaving Asians in the media. They get to choose what kind of Asian actors are portrayed. And for Asian men, the actors that are usually portrayed are very feminine looking men and guys acting like a stereotype. You always see these stupid stereotypes of comedians who sold out. So yes, it has affected us in terms of the sexual market value. And the only people that you see in the media of Asian men are guys like Glenn or whatever. They have these fucking square jawlines. And they all have the same template. They always act like they're wearing blazers, their hair is up, and women are like, "Oh yeah, that's attractive," but she wouldn't fuck him. Okay, she wouldn't fuck him in a million years. That's the funny thing. That's as close as we've ever gotten to a positive stereotype. Hey, John, thoughts on Tinder? I feel girls literally have you by the balls due to the high demand. Fuck Tinder. Tinder is like a fucking validation-seeking kind of place for women, which they get validated. But we'll talk about that later. I want to talk about Asian issues here. Okay. But yeah, fuck Tinder. Just stick to Daygame. So much validation to women. Fuck them. Like, this. we're talking about the sexual market value, how it relates to all this shit. But for Asian men, for the media, just bear with me. I'm just winging this off the top of my head. I have no notes written about this at all. Jewish media has destroyed us. That's the truth. They want somebody else to have revenge on. And why not just come after the Asians? So in our image, you got to look at K-pop. The other guy's question is, does K-pop helping us? In fact, if it weren't for K-pop, okay, for the pre-selection, the pretty boy type of positive stereotype, I probably wouldn't even be a dating coach, because I tried every red pill game out there from 2001. I've been in the game for 19 years exactly, since September the 11th. 19 fucking years. If K-pop, Gangnam Style, Big Bang, BTS, EXO, all this stuff, if they didn't fucking exist, right, I would be struggling with the game, because we had no positive stereotypes back then. All we had was goddamn Bruce Lee, he is actually 1/5 German. Bruce Lee is German. You're like, what the fuck? He is not even Chinese. Bruce Lee is part German. He's a mix of a white person. You're like, what the fuck, John? I thought he was Chinese. No, Bruce Lee is not Chinese. He is only like, his grandmother, I think her father is like German or something. So, and then we got Jackie Chan and Jet Li. That was our only positive stereotype. So in the Western media, we were treated like shit for all these years. And I'm older than I look. I know I look like right now because I'm a little bit skinnier, okay? And I look like a pretty boy. Like, if I shave my mustache, I'll look like, oh, look at John's a cute little Asian guy, right? It's just like, he's so friendly looking and shit, right? Yeah, I'm so fucking friendly looking because I look like a K-pop artist. But however, I'm probably a kind of person that could probably kill you in real life, metaphorically speaking, of course. Like with my bare hands. Or submit you and tell you, metaphorically speaking. But do not be fooled by appearances, because the media does create the stereotype. This is why I tell people to dress in a positive or negative stereotype. So all the media we had before was goddamn Bruce Lee and fucking Jackie Chan and Jet Li. All these years, that's all we had. And Psy, Gangnam Style, all that stuff never came out. So pre-selection was created by the media. Who knew that a bunch of, narrow-jawed Korean fucks, right, were the ones that actually got the white girls' attention? They were very different. They wore makeup. They put guy liner to make their eyes look bigger. And they had bright skin, the Koreans. They're skinny as hell. They're muscular. And they're pretty boy types. And the teenage girls went crazy over it. They went completely fucking nuts over it. They're like, holy shit. And they went crazy. So for that instance, that was actually our first positive stereotype. And the other question is, because Asia is going on the rise. Asia is going on the rise because of COVID-19. Now, China, take away all the human rights of the people. Took away all the human rights. They'll detain anyone who is like American living there now. They are fucking crazy people. Psychopaths. And first of all, I don't know anything about my culture, but I bet I'll be detained if I go to China. Just because I disagree with them. I get detained very easily in the airports whenever I try to go across the United States, because I act too alpha, and they don't like it. So they never got me in trouble for shit, because my frame control is stronger than them. But for China has turned into I think China, personally, I think they're going to start some kind of war with all the other countries. They're going to start small. They already pissed off every other motherfucking country out there. I believe China, this leader, is a psychopath. I don't care. I have nothing against him. But he displays qualities of that. China has no more human rights. Even the Middle Eastern, the Uyghurs or whatever the fuck, they're being put in internment camps. But that's the thing, though, because even if China is economically getting stronger than all the other places in the world now, they're catching up to the United States, or they might just finally surpass them a few days ago. But this is not something you'll see in the news. I myself am Chinese. I'm not Korean, even though I look like it, or Japanese. For the Chinese, they are definitely on the economic rise, but economic rise does not mean that white women are gonna submit and spread their legs. Because when you look at looks, money, status, and game, for money, you can only add 5 points to the whole thing. So that's not gonna change that much. Hope that makes sense. It's not gonna change that much. So even if the economic is rising, it doesn't mean their sexual market value is rising. That did not raise the sexual market value of Asian men at all. In fact, I would say that it made you more indifferent. Because now you got these Asian men with bad hair, without any sort of pomade, going downwards, bad fashion, baggy clothing, scaring the living shit of white women, xenophobia. So is China's rise in the world economic power helping Asian men in general? I would say that it helped it 0%. Zero. It hasn't done shit at all. K-pop has done shit, but that was many years ago. The only group that is known is called BTS. And I hate it when you motherfuckers compare me to this guy called Rap Monster. Okay? He's like, you look like Rap Monster. Oh, fuck. I hate that guy. But K-pop, I think they're older now at the group. But K-pop is the only thing that has created a positive stereotype within Asian men. Korean actors did not create such a positive stereotype as much as other things. That means only K-pop. So you're wondering, why does pretty boys with makeup and bright skin, well, somehow it created a pre-selection. And even in Europe, if you are a pretty boy type, European women do like you. I know it sounds very strange because we always think of positive stereotypes. We always associate with the Hollywood stereotype: tall, strong, broad shoulders like Captain America. But when Asians try to do the same shit, guess what happens? Nothing. Women don't give a fuck about these Glens or these Fast and the Furious, like who's that guy? The guy with the long hair, and then he's like square jawed. They're always a goddamn square jawed guy. And you got these doctor guys who have square jaws in these Hollywood movies. So in some ways in Hollywood, we are backwards. We are backwards by many, many years. Okay? And somehow for Asian men, a lot of them do have very square jaws, and the women do too. But we're born with a square jaw, a lot of us. That's why they have this surgery to reduce the jawline and make us look better. So, but however, saying that, it did not help us whatsoever. It did not help us. This Asian image did not help us. And K-pop is dying, is on the way out. It is not as popular. BTS may be popular with the girls right now, okay? And they're selling out and breaking all sorts of records for their concerts, their stuff like that. But for Asian men, their SMV is low. And I'm going to tell you why it's lower. Because of the COVID-19. We've been blamed for the Chinese virus. All of us Asians are suffering because of what China did. So we're being blamed for the Chinese virus. So in some ways, you could say that our SMV is no longer 1 out of 10. It is finally at 0. So we have to think about the aftermath, what happens. And the only way you're going to make it very far is to learn the Western social skills in the Western fashion. Otherwise, you're fucked. You are so fucked. You guys just don't realize the fallout. They're trying to separate, even Donald Trump saying like, yeah, this is the Chinese virus, but we have our Americans back at home who are different, but it's a Chinese virus. So yeah, after COVID-19, I would say that the SMV of Asian men, if you try to have black hair, I'm not saying you should have blonde hair like me, like a K-pop guy, but if you have black hair, at some point you probably experienced some kind of racism. There used to be, like, when COVID-19 started, 80 hate crimes a day in Vancouver. And I was like, 80, that's a lot of hate crime, like, what the fuck? If you guys are liking this real shit I'm speaking about, give a thumbs up because it's completely unfiltered. I'm just saying whatever is the truth out there. In the Jewish media, the billionaires were responsible for emasculation because they get to choose what's up there. Back then, for the media, we used to have a movie called Ghost in the Shell. It was based on an anime, a Japanese anime. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sometimes this happens out of nowhere. I can't breathe. Not sure if I caught COVID, but I think I did. Ghost in the Shell had Scarlett Johansson play a role of a Japanese woman who should be called Motoko, which is a character, like an android woman. This was a very famous animation back in the day, the 1990s, when I was growing up. You're like, you're that old, John? Yeah. There's one of them movie called Akira, Ghost in the Shell. But what happened was that was the last straw. When they saw a white woman playing a Japanese woman's role, people start protesting. They didn't protest, but they stopped buying into this narrative. Mulan was the only movie we ever had that was like more Asians, that we had an Asian cast. This was the only chance, and it fucked up. Somehow it fucked up. For all these years, I've been waiting for Mulan to come out. I thought it was going to be replaced by all white people, or at least half white people, like a white guy, him, Asian women. But no, because the Asians sort of, you know, at least we got this far. But that's an Asian women lead, not a Asian men, because Asian men, their only leads are kung fu movies and stuff like that. Like the movie, I forgot what's it called, Shadow Ninja or something, some kind of K-pop artist, Korean guy. He played he played like some kind of role or something. Then we got these Jackie Chan movies, Tony Jaa. Asians in the media are treated like shit. K-pop has helped us a lot, but K-pop, Korean dramas are not as popular as K-pop, but K-pop is losing its popularity. So I would suggest Asians to bulk up, to work out, and to wear elevator shoes. And the other thing that really hurt us was Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was trying to be the president of the United States. For the problem with it, Andrew Yang, is that a lot of these Asians, they don't have any facial expressions. For most of them, he had this great idea, but his message was lost. He was like $1,000 for everyone, you know, if they join or his campaign, or if they like vote for him. He was talking about universal UBI, something. It's some kind of like free money, universal something money or some shit. But after COVID-19, I think they're gonna try to introduce a UBI into the system where everyone gets free money and stimulus checks. These fucking socialist communist ideology. But however, for Andrew Yang, because Andrew had such bad hair and he had no facial expressions when he talked, Andrew Yang has alienated all the Americans because they don't even know why he's there. When they interview him, he's just like, "Hey, I'm Andrew Yang." Oh yeah, I believe even if you can talk very well and stuff like that, Asians can only lift their eyebrows. That's about the problem with the Asian men is that they cannot move their fucking face. They can't change their voice. They can't hit different notes. They can't do all that shit. That's the problem. Not even in Daygame, outside of my students and me, they can't change the notes when they talk. They can't change the facial expressions. When you see me doing Daygame, I'm extremely, extremely animated, more than usual. I talk to women like this. And the thing is, that's very, very engaging when I talk to women like this. They love it. But I don't talk to you guys like this. So that's the second thing. The media, every single time we see Asian men being swept aside, especially like Jeremy Lin, when he's a basketball player and he's talking about all these inner game issues, is setting us backwards. Every time we have a JT Tran out there who is basically doing all this shit in nightclubs, is setting the Asian men backwards. Don't you see? The media doesn't even like you. They piss all over you. They emasculate you. And you know what? The K-pop owned it, that sort of emasculation. They made it hyper feminine. They say, fuck you guys. We're just gonna put this image out there, pretty boy, skinny Asian guys. You want to treat us like feminine? They owned it and they exaggerated it to the point where even white women were into them. It's kind of like having like a million or thousands of Justin Bieber like kind of people. when Justin Bieber was younger. It was exactly the same with K-pop. It was like their army of Justin Biebers. You had one. We had for Asians, thousands, hundreds or thousands, whatever. And they become more popular. So yes, that was the only thing that really helped. And this is why I don't believe in the red pill, because I think it's a value system. K-pop has introduced pre-selection. They have introduced pre-selection. But however, sorry, sometimes it's hard to breathe. Oh, fuck. Okay, so K-pop has introduced pre-selection, and protector status would have been a better bet. Height, good looks, muscles, that would have helped a lot too. Because there's another set of Asian men, 1 in 5 will procreate, and they will marry white women. 1 in 5 Asian men will marry white women. And the other 1 in 5 would not procreate. You guys are at a standstill. This is almost like a war, a cultural war, a revolution. And the truth is, I even remember my grandfather. Believe it or not, he was actually the very first one who made Chinese television and Chinese radio in Vancouver, in the whole Canada. I was looking for his name on the Wikipedia for being the founder, and guess what happens? Nothing. The people who bought him out, you know, I think they're the biggest company in Vancouver. The people who bought him out just gave him like a couple $100,000. They took over the whole Chinese media company, and guess what? They pissed on his grave. He's dead. When I was one day, my grandfather told me, I was sitting there. I don't like any of my relatives. I don't want to hang around with them. They're all psychopath, sadistic people. They're always trolling people. So if there's a psychopath gene in the family, it's on my dad's side of the family. And that's very common among the Chinese, as you can see that human rights are being like raped in China. Even Muslims are being rounded up, the Uyghur people, and they are in internment camps. And I mean, of course, Muslims want to be like, hey, we want our religion here. And guess what? Chinese will be like, fuck you. No, we're not having it. Not even Buddhists. Like, these people are ruthless. The Chinese are ruthless. This is what my grandfather said to me. My grandfather said to me, John, my name's Gary, but I didn't even know he spoke English. My grandfather finally spoke, and he spoke perfect English. He sounded exactly like me. Gary, you know, one of these days, when you look at the Chinese, they may be a sleeping giant. They're not doing anything for so many years, not being woken up, but they are a sleeping giant. You look at Russia, you look at all these countries. He was like telling me this. I was like, wait a minute. First of all, this is the only time he ever spoke to me in my whole life. And when I was growing up, I knew my grandfather was a media mogul. So it influenced me to fight for the Chinese people, because the first 7 years of your life, you accept everything into your mental filter. Your self-esteem is being built. He was a leader of Asian men. He's trying to fight for their rights. Maybe that rubbed off on me, and it affected me. But however, he started speaking to me in English like the Chinese are the sleeping giants, and they'll eventually wake up. And I believe with the current president of China, somebody who's ruthless and psychopathic as Mao Zedong, I think they have woken up. They're going to start a world war. I bet. When all the countries stop trading with them, they're going to start some shit. They already killed a bunch of Indians in the hand-to-hand combat near the border. They have fucked around with so many countries. The truth about the Chinese people, PUAs and all that stuff, although there's a lot of delusional Chinese, a lot of them are very psychopathic. They don't have much empathy. It's a genetic default. It's called a Mao gene, or MOB-A or MAO-something. But there's a psychopath gene that Chinese have. They're ruthless. Of all the other races, Chinese, for Daygame, they have the worst fashion of all the races. They're all shit. They're all shit. But the Chinese have it the worst, the baggiest clothing. Chinese also are the smartest. Not all of them, but some of them have good jobs. They make some good money. And they're stuck being an engineer or some fucking shit to please their parents. Their parents are completely controlling narcissistic sociopaths. Only Indians and Chinese are the only two races with parents that are completely controlling in the world. They want you to have good grades, good jobs. These two are the only races that are like that. Give a thumbs up if you guys are learning a lot of shit, because I'm just telling you guys the truth, and I'm just not filtering this. I'm not filtering this. So to get back to the question, I know I'm taking a long time to answer the first question, but it's a big question. It's a big question. Unless the media is not going to help us. K-pop was the only thing that ever helped us. Bruce Lee is not going to help us. So stop depending on the media. If you're not assimilating and whitewashing yourself, and you try to look like a fucking honger, a fresh off boat piece of shit, you're fucked. The guys who are 1 to 5 who are gonna marry white girls and procreate, guess what? They all wear some blue shirts, some jeans, and they look whitewashed. They talk like a white guy. They talk like a white guy. Those are the people that's gonna survive. Those are the people that's gonna survive. People who are just, it's not about messy hair because I didn't fix it today, but it looked kind of K-pop-ish, so I decided to go on here. I may be a pretty boy. I may have the looks advantage, but you don't. A lot of you don't have any looks. So why the fuck are you going out there looking like a K-pop artist with bad hair, and you don't look like a K-pop artist? That's the thing that Asians don't understand. K-pop artists do not wear baggy clothing like you. They're not unattractive like you. And you may think, well, they're not very strong. They're very muscular. They have to dance like more than 12 hours or 14 hours a day. They're extremely muscular, like 8-pack abs. You are not them. And they have surgery to have this kind of physical appearance. They had to have surgery to have this physical appearance. Luckily, I didn't. But I hope that answers your question. To what extent do you think Western media has damaged your SMV? That's the answer. So is Asia rising in the future? I would say no. Asia is going down. Asia is going to be more xenophobic. The more we have these Chinese people, and the more shit they cause from China, and with bad hair and all this, this president where it looks stern face like a psychopath. And we have all these Chinese people who are just negative stereotypes, who have no facial expressions, who cannot change their tonality in their voice, who cannot connect because they have no empathy. Asian is on the way down. And you guys don't realize that. You think you can do a few more spam approaches. You guys think you can just do a few more spam approaches. Oh, it's all game, John. It's all game. Guess what? Game is for the guys with higher SMV. They do it the opposite order. Game, a little bit of vibing, and a little bit of social calibrations, body language, and social skills. Most of the people in this industry has no social skills. You think JT Tran, ABCs of Attraction, have social skills? Hey, what's up? They do not have social skills. That's the problem. How many students did they get laid for Daygame, for ABCs of Attraction? Because they're using the mystery method, the white man's method, derivative. How many testimonials for Daygame did they have for an Asian company? They have like 2 or 3 at most, maybe 2. That's it. So the mystery method doesn't work. That's killing Asian men. You guys don't understand. You guys think you can RSD this shit. Just like my other student here. He's the black student here. The guy who used to be an RSD victim. And that's the problem with the Chinese. Because they always go with RSD because they say looks don't matter. Just spam approach. And that's the problem because it's very appealing. Because if looks don't matter, then they don't get offended. They don't get offended. And because they don't get offended, guess what happens? They'll just keep spam approaching until they're dead. They'll keep spam approaching until they burn out because they have no social skills. Asians need to have more social skills and facial expressions in order to really rise up in the world. So if you want to change the world as an Asian man, you start dressing with the hair up like I do, okay? Not like a fucking Asian guy, okay? Mind the K-pop hair. It's not like a fucking, not with the hair down, with the hair up. And second of all, what you're going to do is you're going to wear blazers. You're going to dress nice for a change. This is the Johnny Elite Army. All my students, including him, every one of my students, they wear blazers. This is the symbol of Johnny Elite. This is our, if Anonymous had like some kind of mask, the Johnny Elite Army wears a blazer. It's not like saying this a real army or whatever. This is just metaphorically speaking. Maybe I am trying to recreate my grandfather's cultural revolution. except that he was not able to run it because he was too weak. He was too weak. Asians need to stand up and stop being oppressed and stop being weak. Learn to use facial expressions. If you don't have facial expressions and congruency, nobody will understand what the fuck you're trying to communicate. Like Andrew Yang, you'll be held back. You'll be held back. No, we're not on the way up. We're on the way down. Asian stock has gone down and plummeted as much as the US economy right now. That's the truth. It's not fear mongering. It's not race baiting. It's not trying to use this like ABCs of attraction to bring more pain so I make more money. It's nothing like that. It's just the truth. The truth is that Jewish media has put us on the chopping block. They used to be on the chopping block. Now they're putting us. We are the next race on the chopping block. And the problem is our women are going to white guys. Basically, Asian men that just keeps going out with Asian women, they think that is not going to affect them because they are part of the 54% of Canadian born or American born, I mean Chinese women or Asian, they'll marry a white guy. Basically your daughter in the future is basically farmed for a tall, creepy, inbred looking, tall, bulky, inbred looking face white guy. That's going to be your future son-in-law. You should go for white women only. And that's another question. Another Asian guy kept telling me how beautiful these Asian women are, and he kept sending me videos and stuff on the. So that's gonna be answer the second question. He kept saying, "What do you think of this?" Let's just look through the comments. Hold on a second. Computer's kind of slow. Let me look up comment section. He kept asking me, John, do you find these women attractive? I think his name was Darth Sidious or something. I'm not sure, but one of you asked me questions. Wow, it's really sad, especially watch expensive. Okay, so the second question they asked was, do you think girls are attracted to expensive, good-looking watch? Okay, that's a different question. You don't find any of these girls attractive? Okay, it's Darth Sidious. Hold on a second. What do you say about Asian stereotypes are completely true and not only when notice these things? Check out Asian identity on Reddit. Okay, so Aaron wrote that. Neely seems relevant. Okay, I've noticed both campuses and in the workplaces that Asian men with darker skin and looks resembles Filipinos do much better in dating scene than typical. I think what you're talking about, typical East Asians. I removed my qualifiers from QFT. I'm only using flirts and touching and getting laid a lot more. Exactly. I don't use qualifiers. So it's in the new playbook version. I don't use qualifiers. So it's just to get the conversation going. Once you get the conversation going, then you just switch over to flirt touch. It's flirt touch, and that's going to solve most of your problems. In fact, flirt touch is everything. Just do it whenever she's like really invested in the conversation. That's what you want. Do you believe in black pill? I do not believe in black pill. Not at all. It's complete bullshit. They all have truths. I don't believe in red pill. I don't believe in blue pill. I don't believe in purple pill. None of the pills are true. They're all different, like islands and stuff. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like they're different continents. Black pill Africa, North America red pill, Europe blue pill. They're all parts of the same universe or the same earth. It's just a different part of it. So because these are all sociopaths who have these belief systems. So why not? It makes sense. I just told you the fucking answer. It doesn't make sense because you guys are socially retarded. You guys have no social skills. That's the problem. The blue pill has social skills. That's how they're able to get girlfriends. You're seeing the world with just value, but you're not seeing how social skills can increase the value. What should we say? Interaction. Are you like one of my students or something? You should ask me on Skype or you should ask me on the WhatsApp. There's no such thing as looks theory. I don't have time to deal with this stupid shit. In all my students, I only got 5 male model looking students. The rest are just very average looking, dude. It's all height. It's not facial symmetry. It's golden ratio. You're delusional. I have 447 lay poll testimonials, And none of my students are really good looking. They're not looking for the bone, like, although I do have a jawline here, they're not looking, okay, the jawline does help. Your maxilla theory is flawed. It's bullshit. It's golden ratio. You should go in the site called Pretty Scale and see where you are. You'll get a woman roughly in accordance, but mostly height, muscles, and race. Like height, race, and muscles. And some of you have very narrow shoulders. A lot of you black pill, you hunch a lot. And that's a problem. Women are turned off by your behavior because of the autism. They're not scared of your looks. They're scared of your autism. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm trying to learn. I'm going to tell you straight up what the problem is. Evolutionary psychology suggests that people who are in the black pill, women are very afraid to procreate with people like you guys because you have qualities that are autistic, which is a cortisol, too much stress. You're always going through a lot of stress. You're shallow breathing, and you're very timid by women. So you are actually, it's not because of your looks. You're just blaming something else. Yes, you lack social skills, but that compounds to the emotional problems. You guys are having too much anxiety. When you have too much cortisol, women can see it. Cortisol equals death. Black pill did not realize. Cortisol equals death. As soon as the women see these traits of cortisol and the stress hormone of fight, flight, and freeze, or too much like freeze and flight, it's game over. She doesn't want to procreate with you. It has nothing to do with your fucking looks. Because my students, when they're calibrated, socially calibrated, guess what? They get laid. So it's nothing to do with that. Because you're autistic, you have Asperger's and autism, you're unable to learn the basic social skills. So you're not able to communicate with them. Plus you hunch a lot. You guys like to hunch. You guys have characteristics of cortisol where the body shuts down and freezes. Hope that makes sense. How can a hug grow for social comfort? You don't hug. You can, during COVID-19, I'm going to post another same-day lay testimonial from another student who was autistic. He was suicidal. He learned Todd Valentine's game, and he failed so badly. A white guy. Okay, a white guy. But however, he, even with cortisol problems and shit like that, is this guy. Look at the screenshot. He same-day lay a Brazilian in London too, of all places. You're like, what the fuck? So even if he was tall, white, whatever, even my other students who are male model looking, even when they have the perfect faces and stuff, he doesn't. But one of my other students have a perfect face. Male model looking people, if they have autism, it kills the looks. It doesn't work. So, So if social skills is everything, Drizzy, then I'll focus more on social skills and social calibrations rather than game. The game tactics you're focusing on it because you're black, I know. Now you want to focus on social skills, social calibrations. So this is what's working for COVID-19. And this is something that black pill will never understand. So I'll show you the chart two different ways. Because you're black, your name seems very familiar, Drizzy. Are you like a recent person who purchased the playbook, or one of my products, or the bundle? Because it feels like I know you. Feels like I know you. Ah, where's the pen when I need it? All right, grab another pen. Okay, social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence in the game. And a lot of Asian people do have characteristics that seem like Asperger's syndrome. So even if they're not like autistic, but they don't have the social skills necessary. So let's talk about this. Okay? This is what you should be focused on. Okay? I'm black, you're right. If you know about QFT, then you have my product. Are you one of my students? How do you get my course? If my course is working for you, right? If my course is working for you, are you one of my students? That's a better question. How the fuck do you get my course? Because QFT is my concepts. All right. Social skills, social calibrations. So if you are like a negative stereotype, right? Let's talk about Asians, okay? Negative stereotypes, positive. So how do positive stereotypes, okay, negative and positive. Why does most Daygame system doesn't work for you guys? It's very simple. Because they start with game here. So whenever a person is whitewash or blackwash in their tall, whitewash or blackwash, like you said, right here, he's a black guy, easier. You don't have much game because women are into black guys because they have protector status and pre-selection with white women. They're taller because they're taller, and that's the Neanderthal gene, evolutionary psychology. They like to go for a game here. So what's the second category they go? They go for emotional intelligence, which they call vibing. This is why black-looking people always like to vibe, and they like to flirt with women. Justin Wayne does it. A lot of, the black-looking people, they use facial expressions. They try to flirt, romantic, sexual, or sexual. They just flirt, because they believe that getting that makes them over the line of fuckability. So if this is the line of value, and this is the line of fuckability right here, because you're black, you just need a little bit of emotions just to get over that line. Does that make sense? This is why flirt works so well for you, flirt touch. This is why flirt touch works so well for you. You just need a little bit of flirt to get over the line. You see that? So what happens after E? You snake around up here. You go to body language. So in case you see a dating coach with a bad body language and a hunch, but he was emoting a lot, then obviously these two already got him over the line. And this is what Black Pill doesn't understand. Because Black Pill has an emotional of minus 500 because they're very pissed off, and they're also very, very like cortisol-like. They're so anxious. They're like, they're always so scared around women, hunching, going to this freezing mode. And the reason why you're in this freezing mode is because zebras do this. They freeze up because the tigers can only see the fucking stripes. They only see the stripes. They don't see everything else. So they only see black and white. So when they freeze up, they look like trees. They look like goddamn trees. So what happens is that for blacks, they go this way and they go to social calibrations, which you should have been using Elite 30 if you're one of my students or not. Then afterwards, social skills. To the black pill and to the red pill, right? They don't know what social skills is. Social skills is the ability to communicate to every single tribe out there. And you're like, every single tribe. The way you talk to your parents is different than the way you talk to your bosses, the way you talk to your friends, the way you talk to public speaking, the way you talk to all these other things are all very, very different. Fuck. So, sorry. It keeps hitting me every single now and then, this fucking COVID. It doesn't hit me all at the same time. Oh, fuck. Okay. So for this one, social skills is something that black pill and red pill don't have. Blue pill has it. That's why they have girlfriends so easily. The general population can get a girlfriend that's equal or, below their look scale, easily. But red pill, they operate as if this social skills does not exist. This is why RSD and all these other people, they don't have any social skills. That's why they're creepy. That's why I'm making all these videos talking about scumbag vibes and shit and other stuff like that. Okay? That's the reason why I made videos like that. I'm trying to teach you something here. The whole industry is full of Machiavellian, sociopathic, delusional, sadistic, psycho or sociopaths. And they're teaching you a game. That's why their game doesn't work, because they're value deniers. They're value deniers. But the problem is that most of black pill, what they don't realize is that by improving their emotions, you want to get to a stoic level. That means it's not up here, plus 10, where you're happy, or minus 10, which is a state crash. You want to be right at 0. That's what black pill does not understand, because they're emotionally too emotional, because they're so angry at the world. They need to be back at 0, so they're more stoic. Stoic means like, stoic philosophy means to be unemotional, to be not affected. And that's the problem. with these autistic people because their extrasensory perception is way, way higher and they get upset easier. That's why I realized with autistic people. So now that you know that for the blacks, the whites, they do it this way because they have no social skills. This does not exist. Understand? So how are my students closing during COVID-19? Okay, I'm gonna answer your question, Trinity. I'm gonna answer your question. It's very simple. Yes, sir. So they can't touch during COVID-19, right? You can't do all this high-fiving, half-hugging shit. So I'm going to post another testimonial after this, or maybe very soon for the other white student. But how they're doing it is they're starting with social skills first. So they're snaking around with social skills. Now they're going to social calibrations. That means, is it the body language? This is like how you talk to women. They practice Elite 30 in the mirror over and over. A lot of black students, they don't have to practice that over and over, but you should be practicing that over and over. After that, this will sneak over into the emotional. So for them, what they have found for shorter guys is that the emotional intelligence of being stoic and having maximized social skills is more powerful than game. Most dating coaches, their game is only like here, okay? Depending on who they are and how many testimonials. Most people have more than 1 or 2 testimonials at most. The guys who think they have like 10 testimonials, they think they're a god. They're not a god. But they don't have 400 and whatever like I do. So my game's already maxed out because it's calibrated, it's transferable. My game is 100%. Okay? But that's not the point. The point is, whatever game they have for their negative stereotype or whatever, then they add the emotional intelligence until they can get over this line of fuckability. Does that make sense? That means they stop here. Once they get laid, they no longer work on the body language. That's why they can hunt, they can talk fast, they have weird robotic hand gestures, and these sound like autistic robots when they talk. This is where they sound completely fucking autistic to the max because they don't need this skills here. But if you were a short Asian guy, right, and you were a negative stereotype, the problem is that you're trying to play a positive stereotype game. So for the Chinese and all these people, because a lot of them are not focused, they have autism, they have ADHD, and they are delusional as fuck, like sociopaths. This was actually designed for taller cavemen. Back in the old days when there's no ethnicities, there was no Africans. There's Africans, they've been around for a long time. Africans, Caucasians, Mongoloids, right? And Indians, all these different type of races were offshoots of evolution. But back then in our caveman days, all of us were roughly quite big. We're all hairy and we're all quite strong. So there's not like a big hierarchy. So for them, the reason why they're lazy cunt motherfuckers, as I'm saying, is because of evolutionary psychology. Whenever you hunt, you need to conserve energy. So that's why you need to be like more like lazy. So when you hunt, you can be more focused. But the problem is that these negative stereotype Asian people, these negative stereotypes are trying to play the same positive stereotype game. This is why positive stereotype dating coaches have nothing to offer the world, because they snake around in this order because of the evolutionary psychology. Is this starting to make sense? So for you, if you want to play a negative stereotype game, you start with the social skills. The blue pill is kind of funny because for blue pill, they have perfect social skills. Everyone social skills is maxed out. It's almost like way up here. You're like, what the fuck? That's how they're able to get girlfriends. This is something you should learn. It's called social stealth. Social stealth. You're like, my Pakistani mentor in the inner circle, everyone besides me already maximized their social skills. There are guys that come from California who are friends with Steve Wozniak and friends with all the celebrities out there. That's how good their social skills are. You're like, wait a minute, you could talk to celebrities and people in the Silicon Valley and stuff like that. Yes, to have that kind of social circle, that kind of social skills. I'm not talking about a tall black guy just in a social. I'm talking about like a negative stereotype. The guy is only 5'9" or something, ugly white guy, a little bit chubby. But he was banging women that were like 10 out of 10 for the body and maybe 7.8 for the face. And I was like, that was his specialty. He wasn't always consistent, but he always banged the hottest women of California over and over. And he is part of the inner circle. I met him in the mansion. Everyone in the inner circle are masters of social skills. This is how they do it. They believe, this is what my Pakistani mentor said, social skills equals PUA domination. And you're like, wait a minute, I never heard of this before, John. I thought it was all game, because you're snaking around the wrong direction. Asians are all doing it the wrong way. They can start with social skills, social calibrations, which is part of Elite 30. Look at this, guys. If you look at the chart here, right here, these two, how big is this? Is this enough for your value down here to get you over that line? No. The only people that could get laid using this kind of style is usually for an Asian guy. When they always have that one token Asian. So what is that one token Asian? Your science is flawed. No, I mean, your science is flawed. Yes, I am a student. Yeah, your science is flawed, Black and Asian. My science is not flawed. My science has 447 laid poll testimonials. How many does Face and LMS has? 0. So you're delusional, like all the other black pills. 447 versus you. You guys can even get each other laid. So I would say that you're delusional. So let's compare, okay? If you're so right, if Face LMS is so right, because black pill, yeah, 447 laid poll testimonials. Black pill has got 0 because your theories are delusional. You think I'm wrong. But if I'm so wrong, how did I get 447? I got more than the entire industry, dude. How does one dating coach have more testimonials than every single than every single dating coach in the world combined? There must be something that I'm teaching that works. If my theories are correct, and it's not looks theory, it's height and race, and you're above 5'9", it's arrow theory. Arrow theory is very simple. I feel some of you guys lie. I'm not lying about anything, you fucking idiot. So this is what you don't understand. This is the truth of how it really works for the black pill. I'm going to disassemble the black pill right now. Easy. So this is what black pill does not understand. Arrow theory. The reason why your theories are flawed is because you're not seeing it from a correct perspective. So this is what they call the golden ratio. So for my face is 82%. Every single dating coach has a different golden ratio. They get the women roughly around the golden ratio. This is why certain dating coaches have ugly girlfriends, like Todd Valentine or, the fucking, what's his name? Julian Blanc. They married what their golden ratio is. So you got to figure out, this looks theory is replaced by golden ratio. But you're talking about the face so much. Women are not into the face. You're just looking at a very small part of the arrow. That's what makes your theory flawed. Second of all, if you're tall and white, right? The taller you are, around like about 5'9", which is the natural average. I've done the research. For Canada is the 5'9". Is 5'9.5" or United States, somewhere like that. So anything below that, women in psychological studies have said that they want a guy 8 inches taller. 8 inches taller to feel safe. So I've done my homework. You guys are not scientific. The reason why you believe it's all looks theory is because you're lacking this thing. Social skills, because you're autistic. Most of you guys, yes or no, is this true? Most of you guys are on disability checks, autism bucks. I know about your whole looks theory. I'm not stupid. You guys are all on autism disability checks, all of you. So if you guys are all on autism disability checks, you no longer have the social skills and the social calibrations, which is necessary. Maybe not all of you, most of you are on disability checks. So why would I listen to people who have no social skills with disability checks? So therefore, this is what Asians should focus on right here, these two. So this is more than 50%. If each of these out of 10 for game, this is 2.5, 2.5, that's 5 out of 10. So whatever little game you put, let's say you put a 1 out of 10 game, that's 6 out of 10. And learn how to control your emotions. This is why black pill women are repelled. It's not because of your looks theory. Sociopaths, you guys are all sociopaths, like to blame other people and not take responsibility. Let me ask you a question. Is there one single black pillar out there who ever accepted responsibility and blamed themselves instead of blaming women? No. Who does that? Sociopaths can never blame themselves. They are never wrong because they're delusional. They always have to win at all fucking costs. So therefore, they're blaming the looks theory for their autism, their cortisol. Instead of blaming their cortisol and working on being more stoic, back to zero. That's the problem. And second of all, the arrow theory, the race. If you're a tall black guy, your arrow may be a different material. If you're a white guy, it's like aluminum. It's a very powerful material. So the looks is just a small part. Looks is only here. If you treat everyone wearing a mask, right, and just looking at their fashion, their positive stereotype, their muscle mass. Here's the thing. Here's the arrow. And third of all, you see that? Right here. It's like Bruce Lee has a huge lats and stuff. But the widest part of the man is a V-shaped shoulder. So by having more shoulders, you're increasing the arrow theory. This is why the working out helps a lot. And here's a theory you cannot defeat. For most black pill people, because they're shallow breathing, maxilla, like whatever, they all have narrow shoulders, like a girl. Their shoulders are here, while most of the other people's shoulders are here. That's one thing you cannot defeat. We can go look at Elliot Rodgers' pictures. We can look at every single black pill picture in the whole world. Every single one of you have narrow shoulders because you have too much cortisol. Cortisol inhibits your ability to grow muscles because cortisol destroys your nervous system. It destroys your ability to synthesize muscles and to lose fat. Does that make sense? So you guys have a cortisol problem. That's why you can't really gain a lot of muscles. And so you need to handle your cortisol problem first in the black pill. This is the secret they don't know. Once you handle the cortisol, then your emotional intelligence, instead of going to -50, it'll go back to closer to like -10, -5. You need to control your emotions. So is there a pill that can get rid of the cortisol? Ashwagandha. You guys need a heavy amount. We're talking about like 4,000, 5,000 milligrams of ashwagandha in order for you, black pillars, to see properly again. So for the arrow theory, a lot of you have narrow shoulders. Second of all, most of you are not, like, for the face, is not the face. For you guys, your issues is the social skills, social calibrations. So you guys are actually doing the opposite way. You're doing it wrong way. And the emotional problem. So you guys should sneak here. For negative stereotypes, start here. Social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence, and lastly, game. This is why during COVID-19 that they're not able to, like, for COVID-19, this is why the students were able to use these two and just a little bit of game, just polling tactics. Instigates, poll, and it converts. So we've seen through the stress test of COVID-19, without social skills and you try to do it this way, you're going to get rejected because you can't build trust. There's a pandemic out there. So this is the real looks theory, the arrow theory. This is what destroys black pill, and black pill is destroyed because they don't have these two categories. Most of you hunch out there, and most of you are shallow breathers. One thing that you cannot defeat in the argument is that all black pill people, whenever they breathe for the lung capacity, I could breathe like, okay, I can hold on for a long time. You can't, because you breathe like you sip the air. I can hold on all day. Sorry, I only breathe out because I had to, because I cough. That's why you shallow breathing. That's why you're mouth breather or nose breathers, because you guys are hunching so much. That's why your maxilla starts to curl downwards, because you're so used to shallow breathing. So all these years, you're not able to breathe through your mouth. And this is why your face starts to slope down. And you try to blame that. That is actually signaling weak genetics through cortisol and with a weak hunch. That's what turning women off. Your behavior is consistent with the kind of caveman that's not going to procreate. So it has nothing to do with looks theory. Even if you had perfect looks, and like I said, I do have students who are autistic who are male model looking people. I have students who look like male models. Altogether, I taught 5 male model looking people, and some of them are actually real male models. I won't say which ones. Some of my students are actually like actors and models. But out of the 5 that look like male models, that means out of the 447 late poll testimonials, only 5 of them were Chad looking, as you guys call it, Chad. The rest did not look that good. And if looks were the only thing that matters, then black students will not get results because they're not that good looking. They're tall, they're muscular, they're strong, but their faces are not that good looking. It's not trying to be racist or insulting them, but black people, according to Black Pill, should not be able to get laid. But your theory falls apart. Your theory falls apart. There is no truth to your theory because black people are able to get laid and they're ugly. No offense. My students would be like, John's right, or yeah, okay, whatever, John. If the black students who are ugly are able to get laid, then it is muscles, it is height. There's a pre-selection. Hope that makes sense. Laughing my ass. He was. I don't even know who Sensu Hawakawa. Height, width, strong body, and the Tinder stuff is very simple. Tinder is more like there's no social skills. I think that answers the question. So that makes it very shallow, but that is the view of the world you guys see. But the truth is in Blue Pill, when they can get girlfriends very easily, social skills helps a lot. It's a great equalizer. It's the greatest equalizer. This is why POAs are kind of like creepy. And yeah, you guys are not that different. Red pill and black pill, you guys are cousins of each other. But I don't believe in any of the pills. I believe all the pills, if you combine them together, maybe there's some truth to it. But they're all half truth. They're all delusional sociopaths. He's a legend. What's wrong with ABCs of attraction? Well, the thing is that you have to wonder, why does ABCs of attraction, right, not get Asian day game testimonials? They have Asian night game testimonials, but not day game. That's a great question as an Asian man to be asking. Why does ABCs of attraction does not work that well for Asians for day game? Their tall, good-looking coach, something Hung or Daniel Hung or whatever, he's only got 1 late testimonial for day game. So why does the mystery method not work? Because JT Tran, who studied from mystery, he's a derivative. He tried to use fashion. He tried to use all this shit. Why did it not work? It's very simple. When you're doing night game, okay, this is a good question. When you're doing night game for Asians, you don't need social skills. It's not important because it's a loud club. You can barely even hear each other. So they work on the body language. You see that? So they try to do a little bit of social calibrations. They'll try to touch, but Asians don't have much emotions anyways. So that's not important. They're not really emoting. They're just sort of using gamey tactics. So that's not there. So they're trying to use these two, a little bit of body language and a little bit of game. Because in day game, there's a thing you have to, the thing is that the women are down to fuck. It's kind of like Tinder, DTF. Because they're down to fuck. This makes it a lot easier. But however, because Mystery is a white guy who believes that you should only build attraction, and then afterwards, you should build comfort. You should keep dating her until she's ready to have sex, and then you can finally use seduction. So because of the Mystery method, is a flaw in it. There's a big flaw in it, and plus they go direct. I've shown all of the people that went direct, they don't have much testimonials that went into. So because Mystery refuses to acknowledge escalating like Drizzy over there, because they don't escalate sexually or flirt. They keep dating. That's a white man's game. So with ABCs of attraction, when they learn from white man's game, it never works for minorities or Asians. It will never work in a trillion years. So Asians should be doing the opposite. The reason why my game works is because the social skills is here. They're missing this block right here. Social skills. They don't have it. And emotional intelligence. The ability to flirt, tease, all that stuff. And also to control their emotions. They don't have it. So they're missing half of the chart. So ABCs of attraction will never get a day game late testimonial because they use that mental filter of a white dumb motherfucker. And I started Daygame in 2001, way back then. Mystery showed up in 2003. I am a senior to Mystery by 2 years. 2 years. So I start with a lay guide. It was a guide NLP for Night Game. I used it in the college campus, and I didn't know it was a Night Game guide. I didn't even know what Night Game was. I just wanted to get laid. And back then, we used to have dial-up internet, like Netscape and stuff. So I'll read this place called the Out Seduction Fast Forum, or it wasn't a forum, it's called a news group. So John is 2 years senior to Mystery in terms of the scene of Daygame. That's right. For PUA. This is 2001 was when they put all the theories together. Like I said, I didn't get laid until way afterwards, until K-pop existed. In fact, I just tried every single red pill philosophy. I feel I was crazy because I needed to learn every fucking system in the world to see what works. But game is only like just 25%. That's what you don't realize. Yes, black pill is right. There is a value system, looks, money, status. But however, you're missing this value system. If this is out of 10, right? This is 2.5, 2.5. Let's just say roughly 2.5 and 2.5. If you only focus on game, just like a black guy over there who got results under my product, he's only focused on game. So therefore, his value is so fucking high. He just needs a little bit of game to get over the line. Game is just basically a value delivery system. Value delivery system. And if it's not enough value, you add a little bit more vibes from emotions. So that's the problem. That's the problem with focusing on just game. You should be focusing on social skills. This is why ABCs of attraction doesn't work. In the mystery method, Mystery is autistic and he's a schizophrenic. He takes antipsychotics. And Ross Jeffries' Mystery back in the day, because Mystery won out, people went to the Mystery method. But the Mystery method does not work for Asians because it lacks social skills. It lacks social skills. That is the reason why. Because they can't get above the line. If you do the math, it's very simple. Looks, right? If we talk about looks, Gary, we're not just talking about the face here. We're talking about the height and we're talking about the muscles. It's out of 10. Money is out of 5 because people don't care about money, as you can see, even in the Chinese making so much money and shit. Status. This is race, natural status, or earned status. That could be like a lifestyle. It's out of 10. Okay, it's out of 10. Out of 5. It's out of 10. And then game. Okay, game is out of 10. But we can divide into 4 pieces. We can divide to 4 pieces. And once a person maxes out their game, so for white people, right? If white people already have like, if they're already decent looking, they're tall, they're good looking, and you know they're wide shoulders and shit, they're already 8 out of 10. Let's just say they're 7 out of 10, just 7.5. How much money do they have? They're probably dressed like a poor fuck. Maybe 1. Guess what? 10 out of 10 for being white in their game. So 10 plus 1 is 11, plus 7.5 is 18.5. So their game only needs to be like 1.5. You see that? That's why they don't have testimonials. So when someone like Mystery with a 1.5 game teaches Asian people, this is designed for the tall cavemen. When they try to go and use this method, the short Asians, they get slaughtered. And over here, they should be using it the other way. This way already gives you 2.5. 2.5. That's already a 5 out of 10 game. That's already higher than the white man's 1.5 game. Hope that makes sense. And if you can work on your emotions, right, you get another like maybe 1 or 2 points. And then the game should be the last thing you work on. Once you master these 3 things, then the game is the last piece that you work on. So I hope that makes sense. So why are Asians the lowest? I just explained it to you. JT Tran is a positive stereotype. He isn't a negative stereotype. He speaks like a white guy, and he's a fat fuck. So if you, first of all, I don't even think JT Tran's that good at game. So first of all, his looks, right? He's short, arrow theory. His looks are like 4 out of 10. 4. His money is probably like, higher. Maybe around like, right now it's like 3 or 4. I would say around like 4. So that's 8. Status, Asian, 1. Maybe if he uses celebrity status, then he can raise it up. His game, It's just basically out of 10. This game is really closer to like 4. Okay, for night game is 4. For day game is really 0. But for benefit of the doubt, we just say averagely like 3. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just not over the line. You see that? This is why he doesn't have any infields or any proof. He's just barely over the line. He'll luck out once in a while. So you're delusional again. That's the truth. This is why he hired a different instructor. He hired a Daniel Hung, who is like 6'2", muscular, very good-looking Asian guy, because now they need a taller Yao Ming basketball player on the team. So that's how he's able to do it. That's how they're able to do it. The other guy uses Tinder or some shit, and he has a girlfriend who's bisexual. That's how they bypass, for threesomes and stuff, because they're still using status pre-selection, her race advantage. Even though that woman's probably not even white, it's probably half black, but it looks white, so the advantage goes up. It's all a science. There's no theories. The secret algorithm is to get 20 out of 35. Does that make sense? Once you get 20 out of 35, the students will get laid within these few days or a week, automatically. And he doesn't have to be good looking either. He can have no looks, but he can maximize the chart on this side. So that's the thing about Asians. For the questions about, all that stuff. No. That's why Asians are lowest. Asians are really at 1 out of 10 at most. 1 out of 10. There's always some guys, dating coaches, who have that one Asian late testimonial, and all of a sudden the whole LMS plus game chart or the social skills gets thrown out the fucking window, because they say, because one exceptional Asian guy, LMS does not exist, value does not exist. That's bullshit. That's just one. I'm talking about the rule, not the exception. And Asians, they're the only women in the whole world, Asian women, that are begging for white men. They want every other race. If she's dark skinned like a Filipina, she'll go for an Indian guy or a black guy because she cannot get the white man. She wants to go up the ladder. Hypergamy. Why are Asian women, 54% of Asian women, trying to flee the Asian men? Answer me that. If Asians are not really last place, how the fuck is more than half the race of a woman, the American-born Chinese or American-born, why are they fleeing from their own fucking culture? Because they think Asian men are low. Look at online statistics. Why are Asian men way lower? Black men are low. Asian men are low. Indian are low. But Asians, once again, low. Why is it like that? Sexual market value in terms of the Hollywood industry, why is it so low? Because Asians are their own worst enemies. They don't want to work out, first of all. Second of all, they don't want to learn facial expressions. Third of all, they don't want to learn how to change their tonality. And fourth of all, they don't want to learn how to emote or control their emotions, and because they're always angry about some shit, or they're always affected because they have low self-esteem. They dress like shit. You have to dress, whitewash, assimilate. That's a very important thing. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, well, fuck you. Waiting for COVID-19. Okay. Let's see, another question. Amazing. Okay, about the future Asian men, Indian men, nothing else. Okay. Johnny Lee, what's the solution? Indian men, Asian guys to raise their SMV in the future so that the Asians dominate and rule the planet. Okay, that's a decent question. That's a decent question. Will rise in the future. So how would Asians rise? Well, do everything opposite of Andrew Yang. Learn facial expressions. So this is what they call them, Asian poker face. They always stand like this. Poker face, poker tonality, poker everything. They hide their expression and emotions. The name of the game is congruency. Asians have to learn how to be more congruent. Andrew Yang was not congruent. I didn't know what the fuck he was about. I couldn't even stand him. I literally could not even watch more than like a few seconds of his video because he wasn't moving his face. His tonality was good, but that's a problem. You see a lot of these Asian guys out there who are gurus out there, but they don't have any facial expressions either. They have great tonality. They sound great when they talk, but they don't have any fucking, they don't have any tonality. So that's another thing. So Another thing that I want to talk about. So how can they erase? Well, first of all, you got to dress more whitewashed. You need to have more of a white hairstyle. Asians always dismiss the hair. Whenever a student gets laid, they're Asian during COVID-19, I always tell them to get a haircut, but they never admit it because their hairstyle is not very whitewashed. Latinos, they rank, their ranking has gone up and down a little bit because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has knocked them down one spot, but they're still pretty high. They're around, they used to be like 7 out of 10. Now they're around 6 out of 10 for natural status. So 6'2" is right here. Life's great. Exactly. He's a tall black guy. For online, it's usually lower, but for Daygame, it's up to 8 out of 10. If you look black, you don't have to be black. You just have to look black. It's 8 out of 10. This is why it's so easy for Drizzy, whatever his name is, to get laid. In the same with my game. It's so easy for Million and Ray. You change your name, whatever. For Mills. So yeah, but Asians are always lower. And the second lowest is the Curry Indians. The turbans, you know, the big beards and shit like that. That's the same study had white women rank second to last. He's ahead. Second to last. Well, I'm talking about my students here in terms of like Daygame, because there's no studies for Daygame. Since I have the most student results in the world, and I have a lot of black students, I'm going to post your testimonials. Because there's a lot of ungrateful blacks. That's why I call them ungrateful blacks who don't make video testimonials for me. They're the kind of people who just, they never make video testimonials. It's almost like genetically they're completely like selfish. It's not like the OkCupid studies. Yes, blacks are, I told you, blacks are ranked low on that OkCupid and Tinder. But in real life, in Daygame, they're ranked super high. So it's a paradox. When you take away the, women don't know what they want until it's in front of them. When they see the muscles, they see the height, and they see the Cro-Magnon or Neanderthal features, they get excited. On Tinder, they're so busy stereotyping black people. So how can the Asians get better? Like I said, be whitewashed, because you want to steal the white man's SMV. It's hard for white women in second. It had white women in second to last. Is that right? I think for the response rate, right? White women are second, and Asian women are number 1. Something like that, from what I checked. I'm not so certain about that. So, is ashwagandha safe in the long term? Liver long term? So for liver, you want to take something called a choline, choline, choline. Choline will help you with the fatty liver diseases and stuff. Choline will reduce any sort of liver damage. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it. In case you're worried about it, a fatty liver is not good for you, and that's something that with cortisol, you're gonna be putting a lot of stress through your liver and also through your adrenal glands. But this is what I recommend: choline, choline. So yeah, there's only 3 thumbs up. I don't know what the fuck's wrong. Okay, next question. I love to see one that legend about beauty standards in terms of what's considered attractive. China will rule and dominate. So Bidu says, especially India and China. No, Indian and China is not going to dominate. India is raping too many women, 86 a day. They're not going to dominate shit. Women are going to be more turned off after COVID-19. Now they're having gang rapes like 2 a day, or on the same day. It's like instead of same day late, same day gang rape. So let's see other questions. Hi, John. Wanted to say, do Asian men have a high SMV in Latin America and Eastern Europe? Because I've heard that many times Asian men do not. That's a good question. In Latin America, how do you sort of Asian women not, like I said, we can look at the statistics. How do you sort out being whitewashed as an Asian guy for the sake of being good at game while not hating yourself? That's the right question. That's the question I wanted to answer in the first place. Okay, that is the question I wish I answered as the first one. That's a great question. So how do you not lose your self-esteem? That's the problem with the Asian men. So you do fine. I have students who are Latinos who got Asian women just fine. So to really understand this question, okay? Uh, so for the Asian men, the biggest problem with them is that when the ego is up, okay, ego, the self-esteem goes down. So the self-esteem goes down. That's a funny thing. I posted all these video clips. I paid a video editor to make them, but you guys don't understand unless I explain it to you. Unless I explain it to you. But the problem is that there's only two races with the highest ego in the world. So what causes ego is a narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, so we can talk about the dark triad: sociopathy, narcissism, and Machiavelli manipulator. Okay, so this is called a dark triad, and you Asians know about triad. Okay, we're talking over here about narcissistic personality disorder. This is why Asian parents and Indian parents control them so much. They control them so much because they say you have to be good at school. In reality, their real plan is so that you will send money back home as an Indian. The parents are sociopaths. They want to arrange marriage so they can control you and get you to send money back home. For the Chinese, however, the parents want to move over to America and want you to take care of them. You are their retirement plan. You are their retirement plan. Okay, so for the Asians, since you're their retirement plan, your parents are completely controlling narcissists. The Asians have a higher ego. You see that? The reason why they're talking about losing their pride and they're talking about assimilating and would they lose their identity or how would they not lose their self-esteem? In reality, it's not about self-esteem, it's because you're egotistical. I'll tell you a story which will really make sense. I have a student from John Elite Access, okay? So Latin women, right? Women. We'll talk about statistics in the future. I think I talked about them in my Tinder video. I posted statistics. We have to look at the Tinder statistics and OkCupid. But however, it depends on which side you're looking at. I have seen the statistics. All right. So how you sort of being whitewashed? Let me answer a question. Give a thumbs up if you guys are spending so much fucking time on my precious time. At the very least, give it a thumbs up. Let's get for the YouTube algorithm. One student got a haircut. So he finally got his haircut exactly the way I told him to do it. But you know what happened? He was like, John, every single day I go to the gym now because I told him to work out. You know what he said to me? He said, John, every day white people are looking at me. They seem to really hate me. They seem to be angry at me. I don't know why. Why are white people angry at me? So we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure it out. This is America. So he says the same thing again the next day. I was like, what the fuck? And then afterwards, I asked him if he pomaded his hair upwards. You know what I mean? If he actually used pomade on his hair. And he says, no. And I say, there you go. Because you didn't pomade your hair up. Asians need to use pomade. Stop using gel or air dry towel hair. When they start using pomade, you know what happened? These white guys no longer treat my student like different. White people are not racist. Or white women, they're not racist. There are racists out there. There are KKK. There are like the good old boys club, whatever they call them. There are racist people out there who kill a black person and hang him on a tree and lynch him if they could. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. There are neo-Nazis. How in a lot of Asian women are like their girlfriends. How are I saying that? Yes, I have fucked a Latina woman. You want me to post infield? I can do that. So yeah. So however saying that, yeah, maybe the next infield I'll post a Latina. So this one's gonna be good. This one's gonna be good. So however saying that, what was I saying? His hairstyle, once it's up there, the white people, They no longer got xenophobic. So it's not about you holding on to your pride, about how awesome you are, because you're going to lose your ego or you're going to lose your identity. Is the reason why you're holding on to this identity as an Asian man is because of a narcissistic personality disorder. Because you're so narcissistic. That's why you're holding on to your fucking pride. That's the real reason. When you assimilate like the other guy, he now realized, holy shit, white people are not racist. They actually were just xenophobic. So what is xenophobia? Xenophobia is a fear and dislike of other people's culture. It's a fear and dislike of other people's culture. They don't understand your ching chang chong shit. They really don't. That's the answer that Asians don't want to hear. Women are not racist. They're just xenophobic. They don't like people in different tribes. This is evolutionary psychology. This is what they call the out tribe. This is what Asians don't understand. Why would you fight the game from the out tribe? ABCs of attraction try to tell you that it's all about the out tribe, or you try to be like proud to be Asian. But if the student fixes fucking hair, he no longer receives racism, right? When he no longer receives, yeah, we both like violent kung fu movies. However, saying that, when they fix their fucking hair, guess what happens? They no longer experience racism. And now this is very different because you're trying to have this Asian pride. I'm so Asian. Let's go alienate everyone from the out tribe, like JT Trent says. But JT Trent doesn't have any Daygame student results. He tried to brainwash you like RSD, which is called this Asian inner game bullshit. What if I am teaching an ABCs of attraction student right now, and he wasn't getting any results before from Daygame? I have many students who are ABCs of attraction who got laid or they pulled in Daygame. They don't get any results. They don't even get instant date. They don't even get a phone number to convert into a date. Only like 2, mostly. At most. That's ABCs of attraction. I know because I teach the students. One of them finally instant date. Now he has to work on the pull. I won't say his name. Don't worry, your identity is protected. Even though you might run into ABCs of attraction all the time, but they don't know why your game is improving so much because you're learning from the best in the world. However, that's the thing though, because he no longer dressed Asian wash, he dressed whitewash. He's actually noticing the resistance is falling. The less baggy his clothing is, the more whitewash he was. And that's just like the other hairstyle guy. That means why made it harder on yourself? Indians would not want to assimilate. These two races never assimilate. The ones with the narcissistic personality disorder, because the parents are complete fucking sociopathic, narcissistic, controlling. It's because your ego, you're not able to let go of your image. Ego is your image on the outside. We all have an ego. My ego is I'm Johnny Elite. Other people, they have their own ego. And for the Asians, you're so fucking egotistical. This is why, you're part of the out tribe. You should not be part of the out tribe. In the art of war, you should take your augment your opponent's strength and add it to your own, which is you steal the white man's SMV and you fuck their women. Genghis Khan did like that. He just killed everyone and just fucked their women. You've lost something. You used to be so alpha back then. But what happened to you? So white Asian men should assimilate because you and Indians will not assimilate. The Indians who do assimilate, guess what? They marry white women. White women are into them because they're taller than the Asians. They're whitewashed. It's not your big fucking beard, all that shit. They dress whitewashed, They have a good bone structure. And white women are into that because now they're not part of the out tribe. Indians SMV is 2 out of 10, but whenever you're whitewashed, you move it up to 4 out of 10. If you look like a Latino, it's a 7 out of 10. If you look like a black, you're Indian, SMV is 8 out of 10. Exactly the vehicle over here. So Indians can look like different races. Some of the Indians that bang really hot women in Australia, one of the Indian students, he looked kind of Latino. They thought he was Latino, not Indian, because he has lighter skin. So therefore, his SMV is way up there. That's the secret. There is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy. And what I'm telling you is There is this hierarchy for Daygame. It's different online. I'm not talking about online dating. Whites are always on top no matter what. I fucking hate that, but it's just how it is. White men are on top. Black men for Daygame is second. Meek and over and the other guy, Drizzy, black guys, they got results. They got results easily. Third of all, Latinos, but I think it went down a little bit because Donald Trump. Number 4, Middle Eastern. Number 5, Pakistanis. Number 6, whitewash Indians. Number 7, like short blacks. Number 8, curry Indians. And the last fucking place in Asians. So Asians, if they have testimonials of an Asian student, they're like, oh yeah, game doesn't matter, or it's all LMS does not matter. Guess what? That student is always strong. He's always above 5'9". It's always the same shit, accent or not. It's just a whitewashed Asian guy above 5'9" with muscles. It's always like some big fucking muscles, and he's tall. Same fucking thing. They don't have short testimony. They have one. The exception is not the fucking rule. I have endless amounts of Asian students results. I'm the only coach with student results on COVID-19. Unless there's another one I'm not aware of. Unless there's another coach, only my Daygame system works so far. So why would you learn anything else? You're just gonna get ripped off. I've never seen a white woman with anything but white and black men. I think you're in a place that's like not as diverse. So places like Toronto, California, and yeah, those kind of places you see more of that. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker with a dynamic. Yeah, you don't see women trying to fuck Jackie Chan. Black people understand. Yeah, exactly. I only see 3 likes because what I'm saying is so fucking real and so raw that you Asians don't want to hear it. Learn how to whitewash yourself. Whitewash. It's not losing your identity. It's more like losing your fucking ego. Why face the unnecessary resistance? Like my Pakistani mentor always says, why make it harder on yourself? That's the question. Why make it harder on yourself? For no reason, you are making the game 10 times harder on yourself. It's retarded. So by dressing like shit, that's called Asian pride. Well, that's nothing to be proud of. But acting like a bunch of psychopaths with no emotions, that's Asian pride. Nothing to be proud of. By rapport seeking, up talking, because you can't stop approaching goddamn Asian women. Hi, I thought you looked cute. Yeah. That's Asian pride. By giving JT Trent thousands of dollars just to brainwash your left brain, although the right brain is still fucked because the other student's still fucked up. I have to fix a lot of shit. And when he's dressing whitewash, now he's not facing resistance. Isn't that a smarter strategy? Huh? Isn't that a superior strategy? Then why would we need Asian pride? Asian pride is bullshit. Asian pride is narcissistic pride of a culture, of a race of the most narcissistic people in the world. Indians are the most narcissistic, and Asians are the most, or Chinese are the most narcissistic in the entire fucking world. Because you got no self-esteem. Because you dress like shit. And you're socially retarded. You're not aware. That's the problem with Asian men. Yeah, great for you. Yeah, good for you. See, Asians will never get it because they're so fucking socially autistic and retarded and narcissistic. It's almost like you're a sheep, like RSD victim. Next questions. Do Asians have a high SMV in Latin America and Eastern Europe? I wouldn't say it's super high, but it wouldn't hurt to dress well. It wouldn't hurt to bulk up. It wouldn't hurt to be taller. Even in Europe, it is easier in Europe because they're more forgiving and you're more exotic. But it doesn't mean every single country respects Asian men. So that's the next question. Places like Ukraine are flooded, we're flooded with Asians and Indians, like these IT tech looking Indians and Asians. And the more the multicultural places like London, the harder it is for Asian men. So not all Eastern European countries, maybe somewhere like Poland where there's less Asian men, but there are still a lot of Vietnamese there that are born and raised in Poland. Other places like Prague where you have less Asians, the places that have less Asians, there are some societies that Asian men do a lot better. Instead of being whitewashed, have pride in who you are. How about go fuck yourself, Dark Lord? Why would anyone be proud to be a Curry Indian in a Western country? Nobody's proud of it. Who says you can't be proud to be a Chinese? You'll be more proud when you're not facing racism. This is why I told you to fix your fucking hair and stuff. If you want to be Indian washed out there, you have no results. So let me tell you like another result of my other student who lost his virginity, Indian guy, autistic. He started wearing clothing that is very whitewashed. And he built a huge white social circle right now after Elite 60. All his friends are high value white guys and, a few white women here and there. If he stopped dressing like a white person and he starts dressing down with low self-esteem like an Indian, guess what will happen? He'll say, John, they're all wearing casual clothing. I want to wear casual clothing or dress down so I can no, you're going to look like a Curry Indian. I told him the only reason why that he's still in this group is because he's dressed whitewashed, very whitewashed, more than me. He met my Pakistani mentor and we both told him what to wear. And he's dressed like that and they respect him. He's able to fit into this tribe because he's dressed whitewash. If he listened to your fucking pride concept, he'll be fucked. You guys are stupid because you guys, like I said, Indians are fucking. The reason why I made the video, 4 of them for Indians, because you guys are so fucked. You guys are the craziest fucking race in the world. After COVID-19, you're raping 86 women a day. So why the fuck should I listen to your opinion? White people are jealous of Chinese Indians because the countries are giving Western a tough competition. They're not jealous. They're not jealous. I think you're fucking delusional. First of all, you're a smelly Korean Indian who basically is a sociopath with completely fucking autistic, like a sheep who worship dating coaches. You have no thoughts of your own. You dress like shit. You smell like shit. And here you are. You thinking white women are jealous. No, you're completely excluded as part of the L tribe. That's how stubborn you guys are. The Asians and the Indians are stubborn. First of all, for all dating coaches who are Indian, not a single one of them looks Indian at all. They're either blackwash or whitewash. That's the truth. The last guy that was Indian wash was Magic Leon. And this guy's a creepy motherfucker. If he's married or whatever. But he's not teaching Daygame. He's creepy. I saw the creepiest fucking... Most of you are rapists with the serial killer eyes. That's the problem. Indians are like fucking sociopaths with like serial killer eyes that look like they're gonna fucking kill you, all of them. You know it. I can go on Google right now and put Indian men, and they all have the same eyes. They all look like they're gonna kill you and murder you and then rape you. That's how they're like. Because once you have those eyes, you have the dark triad personality. And what's worse, everyone is dark triad and autistic, every Indian. So the 2 Indian students I have that are not emotional snowflake cunts, they're whitewashed. Guess what? They still have the same genetics. They just have not expressed it because their parents are more progressive. They have white last names. And they grew up in the place that's not India. They grew up in a different place, but their parents are really loving. So therefore, when they grew up, they still have the autistic or comorbidities of a PUA. All of them have it. They're all autistic. That's why they have Asperger's for these students. But they don't have this one, 2 students. But most of the Indians have this. The ones in India like you are dark triad. But the ones who are dark triad, or dark tetrad, if you add sadism on top, dark 4, they'll stab you in the fucking back. You know it. Everyone in India is trying to stab each other in the back. They're shitting on the streets. They're all trying to fuck each other over. Because you're all dark tetrad. Dark tetrad is the hornets. Hornets will eat the bees. The bees is dark triad. You're all fucked. This is why you can't assimilate. This is why Indians don't assimilate. They just take steroids all day in Surrey. They work out with the big fucking turbans. And they have a big fucking beard. That's all they do all day. And they shoot up each other in Surrey. High crime rate. That's all you guys do. You don't assimilate. The Chinese are worse. They don't assimilate. They go to Jan lifestyle. They go to the fucking RSD. They don't assimilate. They dress like shit and they are not in the fucking game anymore. After a few months or 3 weeks, they're gone. They go a night game. Back to this JT trend category. I'm calling you all out because you're all full of shit. You're all fucking stupid, narcissistic pricks. Creepy as fuck. You need to learn how to assimilate. And assimilation does not mean you're losing. Assimilation means you're working in the in-tribe to bang their women. You're stealing their motherfucking body armor of your enemies, and you're stealing it, and you're fucking their women. Does that make sense? You're stealing the enemy's body armor. That's what fashion is. You're being a positive stereotype. If Asians, are you guys getting this? Are you guys fucking stupid? Are you guys not getting this through your dumb mental filter, you fucking narcissistic pricks? Holy shit. Yeah, Indian women also like white men. Don't forget that. If they can get a white man, they'll go for a white man. If they cannot get a white man, they go for their own kind. In Surrey. Because 99% of Surrey is Indians. And I day game there before. They always look at me. Whenever I have like students there, so sometimes I visit them. However, in Surrey, when I'm there, everyone looks at me. Holy fuck, there's a Chinese. There's a Chinese there. They couldn't believe it. And I was like, what's wrong? My student likes to day game Indian women there. He's Chinese too. White males actually hate seeing well-dressed whitewash. I'll tell you the truth about white people. Jack Oral over here, one of my students, a black student who's dressed whitewash. They told him, why are you dressed so bougie? I hope you don't mind me telling this story, but this can bring a lot of clarity. White people do not like their dominance challenged. If you're in a social circle, same as the other Indian student that lost his virginity, they'll always tell you to dress down. They'll joke about it in your social circle. They'll always joke about, you're dressing too well. They'll try to dissuade you. They're always trying to make you take the low self-esteem route because they don't want their sexual market value challenged. They don't want it challenged. So you see white people with Asian women in Vancouver. The white guy would be like, the Asian women would talk loud, trying to insult Asians around them, like being rude. So I say the word hypergamy out loud and they fuck off. And she feels ashamed. And the guy walks away. I know it's called hypergamy, but I call it hypergamy. They know what I'm talking about. White people always wants to keep the minorities down. They're not racist, as in they're trying to be racist, but they don't want their dominance challenged. That's the truth. It's not because they hate you dressing whitewash. They'll still hang around with you. You're able to hang around white people in their tribe because you're dressed whitewash. That's your ticket to their women. That's your ticket into the social tribe because you're dressed whitewash, black, whatever race, not Indian, in tribe. Whitewash, blackwash, whatever. But the thing is, even if you got a ticket into their tribe, it doesn't mean they're going to like you conquering their women. It's just like people don't like Middle Easterns conquering their women in Eastern Europe. So they're always going to dissuade you. But it doesn't matter what they say. Because no matter what, if you keep dressing whitewash, even if they try to tell you dress down, they're still going to hang around with you. It's not what they say, it's what they do. So if they're compliant, who gives a fuck what they think? White people always keep people, other races down all the time. They're not doing this to be, they're not racist. They're not they're xenophobic. But at the same time, if they're not xenophobic anymore, they never want their supremacy challenged. So most young white people dress black. I think most is kind of generalization. It's not most. Most dress like a white people. But there are some people who are into rap music. They're hip hop. White males actually hate seeing well. Yeah. Here's the truth about us whites. We have no ethnic culture. We are nationalistic. It's not nationalistic. It's more like evolutionary psychology. They just, I don't know how white people became the top. Genghis Khan, when he died, it's like all the Asian pride. Genghis Khan was one alpha motherfucker. He conquered Russia. He conquered Asia. He conquered so much. And he raped all the women. Seriously, this is one alpha motherfucker. If he didn't die, the world would be a very different place. Asians may not be so low. Asians are so timid. Asians are their own worst enemies. Most Asians are beta. They're timid. In evolutionary psychology, this kind of behavior is a turnoff to women. Women are not into that. And the Asians who are most successful white women are the ones who assimilated. They're so whitewashed, they don't even have any inner game issues. They're so whitewashed, they dress like a white guy, they talk like a white guy, and they're tall. They're always tall. They're usually above 5'9". They're like 5'10", 5'11", or something like that. Yeah, and they do pretty well. So be whitewashed. It's not about proudness or whatever. They don't even know what this Asian pride thing is either. The ones who are going to procreate and marry a white woman, they have no idea. They have no inner game issues. They just go in there, social skills, and they do fine. Whitewash. It's not about like fucking pride or Asian pride. That's just bullshit. If Asian pride has led to more student results for Daygame, right, for ABCs of attraction, then I wouldn't have to attack that company. If they have more than like 3 or whatever Daygame testimonials, Asian pride and this Asian inner game is killing the culture. Be proud, like ABCs of attraction says, be proud that you're Asian or in something in spite of it. I'll say, fuck you. I have 447 late poll testimonials. How many do they have? 1 for their tall coach? Your theory has failed, Asian men. You have fucked them over, and COVID-19 destroyed ABCs of attraction. So in the mystery method kind of game, that does not work for Asian men. I don't see a lot of thumbs up because what I'm saying you are not accepting, because this is way too much for you guys to handle right now. I don't think it was consensual. I think he was just raped them all. He's conquering tribe. 1 in every 100 people have a Genghis Khan gene. You know that, Mills? 1 in 100 people. That's how far his genes have spread to the world. That's amazing. He's banged more women than anyone else. He has the highest leg count, Genghis Khan, in the world, probably. So, yeah. But the thing is, after he died, everything else died for the Asian men. All we had is Bruce Lee, which is like 1/5 German. Hype pill in the house. It's not hype pill. It's not hype pill. I have 447 late poll testimonials. I made a video showing all the students. So I put like a green for how fast they get laid. If it's green, is fast. If they're shorter, I put yellow for medium speed, and I put red for slow speed. It seems to be a correlation between height and delay. So it's not a theory. It's not a theory. It's evolutionary psychology. It's protector status it's protector status. It's not heightism or whatever. It's not. It helps a lot. The students do get laid faster, even the Asian students. So it's not a theory. It's not a theory. Mills over here is 6'2", and he finds it very easy to get laid. Height doesn't matter as long as you're above the national average, 5'9". This is something I've discovered for all these years of teaching. I've been teaching since like early 2013. I think like late 2012, early 2013, and I have the most student results in the world. The height thing is not a bullshit thing. So that's why I tell my students, rather than saying, oh, height doesn't matter, or it's all in limiting belief, guess what? They wear elevator shoes and they just get it in. Just heel lifts. There's no time for theories. I mean, if they're 5'4", then boost their height a little bit to a 5'7". It's not a theory. Daygame is not equal to hating your own kind. Reigning and defending. My social skills are okay, but you're completely socially retarded, Dark Lord. You're completely autistic. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your social skills are okay. The more dumber you are and the worse you are at something, the better you think you're at. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to say, because you have never lived outside India. You have never lived India. All the fashion is backwards. They have the worst fashion in the world. My old roommate knows, because he can't stop dressing like fucking Bollywood shit. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're living in a fucking toilet bowl. You live in a fucking toilet bowl. India is the giant, biggest toilet in the world. It used to be a place where in the train tracks in Mumbai or something, they used to shit all over the fucking place. They used to have no urinals. And you guys used to just piss in the streets until you had this ugly Indian project where they paint over the streets, they clean it up, and they put flower pots to stop pissing on it and install urinals in the streets. You guys are like, you shit in the streets, you piss on the streets. What the fuck are you talking about social skills? Nobody has social skills. You talk to the next person there with a psychopathic or sociopathic eyes, they'll stab you in the fucking back. What are you talking about social skills? These guys are all fucking crazy. They've raped 86 women a day, and they gang rape her and put blood. They put like a fucking glass in her pussy until she fucking bleeds to death. They don't say that in the news. I know what the fuck goes on in India. You guys are fucked up people, autistic as shit. You're all autistic. All right, what was I saying? Will Chamberlain fuck 200,000 protectors that I'm short. I'm a short white man from Australia. Or maybe you are that fucking other guy who's a piece of shit, where you have one like student who was like Asian, who was probably tall, and you're like, oh, LMS doesn't matter, it's a height, whatever. Yeah, but you're like, oh, I'm 5'8", but you're actually like with dress shoes, you're 5'9", so shut the fuck up. So I'm gonna remove you from this. I'm guessing that's you. I don't have time to deal with stupid faggots like that. I just leave them alone. Just let the sociopaths think whatever they want. 2 years, they don't exist. So he's gone. In case that's him, in case he's the other fucking person, I don't have time to deal with stupid faggots. So like I said, just because one Asian student, if they get one Asian testimonial, it doesn't mean LMS doesn't exist. But height does matter. And if you're white, and this guy's saying, well, I'm short, I'm 5'8", but you're white, you have a fucking 10 out of 10 SMV, you dumb fuck. You have 10 extra points. That's not game. What the fuck are you trying to say? And he's like, oh, this guy's like saying, oh, I'm not good looking, I'm older. You're pretty good looking. You're better looking than most of my students. You fucking idiot. This other white delusional fuck. Like, yeah, there are 5 students of mine who are white, who are much better looking because they're male models or looking. Some of them are male models and actors. But outside of that, you look better than most of the students. So whatever the fuck saying, oh, you don't look. Now shut the fuck up. White people, 10 out of 10 SMV. I have a bald student that got a girlfriend, right? He fucking had a blowjob on the side. He's bald, he's ugly, he's like 1 out of 10 and looks 0 out of 10, right? He's still texting me right now, right? He's working on his, I can show you. He's working on, okay, on his body language, okay? But this guy is a fucking killer of game because 10 out of 10 SMV. And when he wore elevator shoes, he became 5'10". He's 5'7". 5'7". He became 5'10". At 5'7", he got rejected by every woman. When he put on his elevator shoes, nobody rejected him. He's above 5'9". I'm just saying, fuck your theories. I'll post his testimonial soon. Bald, ugly. You guys gotta see that being bald does not hurt your chances. I've looked at all the stats. I'll talk about that in the future. I have to go to the bathroom soon. That's why I'm talking faster. Drink a lot of water. But I want to answer all the questions. So fuck your Asian pride. I think it's stupid. Asian pride is stupid. Why not? Don't you like their aesthetics? He's talking about Asian women. You should try approaching some good-looking fobbies on the streets and stuff like that. So you guys think that John doesn't approach Asian women? Of course I don't. But I had some students that were like, hey, John, can you help me like fucking bang some Asian women? And on the very first or second approach, I already helped him same day lay. I couldn't get hard, so I only put my dick inside her for once, and I got out. It still counts as a lay. Maybe I'll post some of those infields. There was one Chinese girl I used to like. She has very skinny waist, and her face looks like about Angel Alita, big eyes and stuff. It's kind of like, you know, she looks exactly the same. So there's only one Asian woman I ever liked. The rest I don't find attractive. But I can post the infields if you want in the future of these things, just to prove I'm not racist against my own kind. It's just I don't prefer them. I don't like them. I don't find them attractive. The reason why I found her so attractive, she does yoga, so her body is like very slim and stuff like that. I like that. My ex-girlfriend used to have a body like that, where it's kind of triangular hair, but my ex-girlfriend was 17 years old. She was Russian and a model, an actress. So her body was like this, and then, you know, the hot teenage body? That's why I like, maybe that's why I like that Asian girl, and she had big eyes and shit. So, yeah. Do white women notice the elevator shoes when you put on the approach? The thing is that you have to make sure chinos or jeans are long enough on the back, it has to cover the back of it. If you cannot cover the back of the elevator shoes, guess what happens? She can see it. It looks like fucking ski lifts. But if you can cover the back of it with your jeans or chinos, she cannot see it. It's hard to walk with it. It's hard to walk with it. How to lighten the skin color to look more white or light Latino? That's a good question. But in reality, maybe you should try to look more Pakistani. Maybe you should try to darken your skin more and dress more whitewashed. You should dress more whitewashed. Not in India. India is different. When you dress whitewash in India, it doesn't work. Everyone is 10 years behind. Everyone's 10. But however, because you're short, cannot dream. So you better start boosting the height. Try to think brown shoes. You should ask me. You should ask me of which brown shoe to use. Since you're one of my students, at least I think for Elite 30, you have one Skype with me. Ask me what shoes. You have my permission to. I'll tell you exactly what to wear. Okay. I'm 5'10", yes. You don't want to lighten your skin. If you can look like a darker, like you can look at a different race, try to see which race you can fit in with. Pakistani or whitewash. That's your solution. Dark Lord. Dress whitewash. Not India. It's a toilet. It's like 1990s fashion. It's a fucking red leather jackets. These fucking Bollywood shit. Weird fucking blazers and long baggy pants. Fuck these people. You'll never succeed being whitewashed there because they're so backwards. This is the only culture I tell my students to get the fuck out of the country. All the students that I have that are in India, I'm telling you guys, get the fuck out of India. Move. That is a toilet. You guys don't see there's a better world out there. There's actually some decent people out there who don't stab each other in the fucking back. India is one giant toilet bowl of sociopath, autistic, fucking emotional snowflake cunts who who are autistic as shit, who just can't stop backstabbing each other. And they're fucking horrible people. The whole race. I've never seen a race rape 86 people a day. Seriously, in India, 86 rapes a day. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of India. The environment is going to affect you're going to realize, Dark Lord, how little social skills you really have out there. Whatever social skills you think you have is going to be like 0.5 compared to most white people. You're going to get slaughtered. You're going to die out there. So I need to take a trip to Russia. Exactly. Russia women. So you got to learn how to speak the language a little bit. Not all of them speaks English. Some of them do. So you got to speak like, Privet, Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Как дела? Меня зовут Johnny Lead. Хорошо. Спасибо. Пожалуйста. Okay. Извините. Билет. Сука, билет. That's a way of saying like horror or something in their language. They always say suka billet. And they like to listen to something called hard bass or hard bass music. And they have something called goopniks. You find goopniks, they're almost like they wear Adidas and shit. The goopniks. They have baseball bats and they always want to fight with you over there in Russia. So watch out for the goopniks. And this is like the thing is that you have to learn how to do this. The Slav squat. Slavic people love to squat down on their heels because they don't always have seats, and in prisons they kind of do that. And they love the hard bass music. They love the hard bass music, Russian music. So this is the kind of thing in Russia. It's kind of like that. And the women are very beautiful, but they have like huge fucking thighs compared to Ukraine. And their language sounds a little bit different. They're not the same language, Ukrainian and Russia. They're a little bit fatter for the thighs. They have more food to eat than Ukraine. Ukraine's more like intermittent fasting country. So keep that in mind. India has least competition. Nobody likes India. Your women are into this caste system because they're all just fucking ugly dogs with unibrows and hairy arms. And they're trying to find some way to separate SMV. It's all like makeup on dogs and pigs. What are French women like? I've actually banged a lot of women who are French. They're lovely. They're absolutely fucking lovely. They usually have like brown eyes and they have like brown hair. and they have very white skin, but they're very lovely. They have a reputation. They don't like shower very often in France, but French women, I love French women. They treat me very well. I think they treat you very well. There's a lot of blacks in Montreal and stuff like that. In France too, lots of blacks. The blacks usually come from more the Africa region, the skinny blacks. They'll come over there for doing some kind of prestigious job, and they're always living in Montreal or in France. Bonjour, je m'appelle Jean-Élite. So, out of all the European women in Europe, which nationally would you say has the hardest to pull? None of them are really hard to pull. But there was one place I got my ass kicked, like curb stomped to the ground. It's not because the women, none of them are really hard. Riga. Riga women are 6'3" averagely, or they're 5'11" or is short to them. You see giraffes walking everywhere. They're Russians. They're secretly Russians. They're not Latvians. This is what they lied to you. The government lied. Half of them are Russians, and they're treated like a lower caste. That's how they're so tall. The Russians. They're hard. They're very hard because they're so tall. It's not like I haven't banged women that tall before. I have. Like 6'2". But for those ones, in Riga, it's hard. The coin, the euro dollars are very expensive. They have to be in couples. They always need a relationship to survive. Riga is fucking hard. And on top of that, the women are so tall. And they're way taller than me. So I would say Riga is the hardest I've ever seen. Vancouver is hard, but not as like super hard. A lot of the hot women from Vancouver, they all left Vancouver. They all left downtown area. It's too expensive to live there. A few years ago, for Connect Dream, if you saw the women teaching boot camps, they're all hot, tall blondes and shit everywhere. Now it's just full of ugly women. Nobody wants to be around downtown anymore. The party has died. But for European women, I would say Riga, not European, but location. None of them are super hard. They're a lot more friendlier in Europe. Women are so much more friendly in Europe. They're more compliant. They're nicer. And my God, do they ever love tall black men over there? You say Indians are naturally stink? Yeah, they do, because their sweat glands smell like shit. It's the truth. My old roommate, we have done field testing to test every single variable. We don't eat Indian food. I never see him eat Indian food, so it's not the food. It's the sweat glands. So he tried antiperspirant, and it worked. That means it's not deodorant. Deodorant does not work. Antiperspirant was able to suppress the sweat glands, and the smell did not happen. So yeah, we've done every single field testing. I know a lot of you have been offended by the videos, so therefore you watch less of my YouTube videos. But if you guys are not going to watch my videos, I'm going to make less videos, guys. I have a lot of videos already. Like, I had to pay a fucking video editor just to zoom in the video so I have more content for you guys. But if you guys are not going to appreciate it, guess what? Less videos for you, motherfuckers, and more YouTube lives. So at the very least, you can just give it a thumbs up. At the very least. That's all I'm asking. Or watch the fucking videos, because it's too fucking hardcore. It's too realistic. It's too direct. It's too like real talk. But yeah, let's see what else. Other questions. So is it easier? I have to answer that question eventually. Is it easier in Eastern Europe? So that answered the question. For Asians, it is easier, but it doesn't mean like you have to have no SMV. You need to have some kind of SMV. You should try to wear elevator shoes. You should try to at least, bulk up. You should try to be a pretty boy type. It's going to help you in Europe. You need some type of SMV. You can't have no SMV, or you're going to do a lot of spam approaching. And I had a student like that. He was 5'7", pretty boy, but he would approach every single fucking girl in the city before he moves to the next one. He got a lot of lays in Europe. Okay? I'm going to show his testimonial soon in the future too. He has about 7 lays with super hot women. However, he got rejected so many times. But it was less than he got before after my training. But that's something to keep in mind. Height matters everywhere. It's universal. It's not heightism or some bullshit. When a white guy says, I'm 5'8", who gives a fuck? You're white. I have white students who are 5'7" doing same day lays. You know? So you're good. I don't deny it. Exactly. So yeah, have some fucking SMV. So let's see what else. So the question is Latin America. Latinas are the flakiest women towards Asian men in the world. One of my students after the boot camp, the bald guy, he went back to a place in the United States. It's all Latinas, 80%. He got flaked on like crazy. He was 5'11", bald, strong, but he wasn't good looking. Latinas are the most shallow women on earth. But for some reason, Latinas give Indians a chance. Indians who look like a different race. They have given Latinos a chance. They have given like whites a chance. Latinas are the most shallow women on earth. If they're into you, and Brazilians are the most flakiest. So if a Brazilian is into you, you have high SMV. That student, same day, the white student, 6 foot tall, autistic. He's the next testimonial. He's same day lay a Brazilian. The other Indian guy, Australia, same day lay whatever. The thing is that if you look like you're Indian, but you look like a different race, the Latinas will go for you. Just like my old roommate, his girlfriend's Latina. So, because he looks like a Latino. But yeah, Latinas will flake on short Asian guys 99% of the time. They're the most shallow. They will not come out because the protector stats, Latinas have bigger hips. Bigger hips means more protector stats, more height, more muscles. So, is spam approaching problematic only because people practice them? There is no spam approaching my system. If you're not closing in the first approach, you are a failure. In the boot camps, they only have 5 approaches. The women comes out and they fuck them. They pull in the first day too. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There's no such thing as spam approaching. If you're spam approaching, it means your fashion is shit, your calibration is shit, you don't know how to read her reactions and adapt to her. You don't know when to tease and when to flirt. You have no social skills. So if you're not closing in the first one, remember, you're a fucking failure. She has to be in your bedroom in the first approach. That's how much calibration can go towards. If it doesn't happen, guess what? You got more work to do. There's no such thing as spam. This is not RSD. This is not RSD. These guys don't get it. They're always like, spam approaching, you approach every. What the fuck are you talking about? If she's not in your bedroom in the first approach, and I do this in front of boot camp students too. I do this in front of boot camp students. I'll post more of that in the future. That happens all the time. So if she's not in your fucking bedroom in the first approach, fucking go kill yourselves, metaphorically speaking. Learn some fucking calibration, not just game. Follow this route. Social skills, social calibrations, emotional intelligence, game. No such thing as spam approaching. No such thing. Okay. For Latin America, however, if the Asian goes to Latin America on Tinder, right, they'll do much better because the country is poor. It's a third world country where they behead each other. You know, they're always kidnapping each other and they're always beheading each other in these South American countries. They're all sociopaths. The only other race outside of Indians that are all sociopaths is Latinos. They're fucking crazy. Latinos will fuck donkeys. Like seriously, they'll do it. Look on Vice. Just Google Vice, Latinos fucking donkeys and stuff. They'll do it. It's there. My Pakistani mentors show me. They're fucking crazy. I do have Latino students. Some of them are okay, but they're all delusional. They're all crazy. They're the only one that's crazy as Indians, but they're just more violent. More death, more destruction. Okay, less rape. During COVID-19, the Latinos have not been raping or killing or beheading more than usual, or kidnapping. Indians have doubled their quota because they got emotional, because of the high ego, low self-esteem, narcissistic personality disorder. Rapes have doubled. Latinos, they're not killing each other. They're just more, so that's different. But Latinos, however, are not as evil as the Indians, even though they're very violent. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. I forgot what my point was. But oh yeah, in Latin America, however, if you do go to Mexico or you go to South America as an Asian man and you go on Tinder and swipe, you'll find a lot more compliance over there, because it's not because of your race or it's not because you're protector status. When they come to North America, and a lot of them migrated over to Canada because of Donald Trump, they're very shallow. They'll flake on Asian. But when Asians are over there in those Latino countries, they get more compliance on Tinder because now they have more status, because they're all poor over there. They're poor, poor ass country, poor violent country. So yes, Asians will have some SMV there, but absolutely zero SMV unless you're 5'11" to 6'2", tall, strong, and 8-pack abs. Latinas are the most shallow towards Asians. And the second one that gets Latinas are the Filipino-looking ones. The Asians who are short and they look like Filipinos because they look like Mexicans. Mexicans have black hair, black eyes, just like us Asians. My eyes, is it black? Is it brown or something? What color is my eyes? I have no idea. It looks a little bit like brown. Yeah, it's like a dark brown or medium dark brown. So I have no idea what my eye color, but it looks very dark. Okay. Maybe the lighting is reflecting. But however, the Latinos do look like Mexicans. So if you're buffed, you're 5'7", but you're really buffed, even with heel lifts, Latinas will be into you. So that's the exception to the rule, because Asians look like Mexicans. Therefore, you build trust. And I have a student right now who has a girlfriend with a Latina. Actually, a few of them do. Okay. After his boot camp where she got laid, he's half Filipino, half white. He's the guy in the video calling like scumbag vibe. So he got a Latina girlfriend, a hot Latina girlfriend. However, yeah, they're into Filipinos too. The Asians that, because he's half white, he's bright skin. But they're more familiar with people that looks like Mexicans. But outside of that, if you look like anything else, if they're not into K-pop, these Latinas, holy fuck, will you ever get flaked on? More than ever. Women love criminals. Yeah, they do. Because criminals have survival value, money. They're exciting, and their behavior is more alpha. And they have like drug money. So that adds to their survival value too. They're able to survive the law. But when they get in jail, she's not loyal. The bitch, the hoe ain't loyal. Next question. Do you try approaching some good-looking Chinese fobs in streets of Richmond or Vancouver? I have. I have done a lot of Daygame in Richmond too, so it's not like I haven't. Richmond is even more racist because it's saturated with Chinese people everywhere. So the white girls over there have spent their entire lives raised in Richmond in such a way that they're used to ignoring Asian men. So they spend their entire life treating Asian men like the background, kind of like trees or, whatever, like the sewer, the car in the background. So they're not used to the Asian men talking to them. It reinforces the negative stereotype. So it's just like London. The more Asians you have, the more multiculturalism, the harder it is for them. So that's the truth. Let's see what else. Love your advice. Indians doing similar for Asian men. Okay. Love your advice videos for Indians. We do a similar one for Asian men, like an Asian series. Maybe I should. Let's go offend the next race. While Indians are so fucking offended, and the audience is kind of tuning out. Let's go talk to the next race, Asians. Darth Sidious, would a decent-looking Asian man with a fashion that is 5'10" be negative stereotype? No, just fix your fucking hair. Just don't be ugly. But foreigners, especially white foreigners or black foreigners, in some cases do have higher SMV than most Asian men there. Okay, you're talking about Asian. I honestly, I rarely watch other POA channels. Okay. The Indian guy's asking me. I'm just looking over the questions. Let's see. Tony asks. John, thank you for your videos. It helps us minorities have unique deficiencies, not being okay. Desi Indian guys have advantage of great handsome hair, bushy eyebrows, and thick sculptable facial hair. Your accent is not offensive, but that's unfair. First of all, they don't find that attractive. India, they find that attractive. They think it's masculine. Uh, what if you're getting bald soon? Has a handsome face, a 5'7", whitewash clothing style. Um, there's a lot of questions here, but I think I cover most of the main ones. So I'm not feeling good. I gotta use the bathroom. So I think I answer a lot of your questions. So is there any more questions? Final questions. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. Give it a thumbs up. It's good for the YouTube algorithm. I'm just saying some real shit here. Even if I'm not feeling good, hopefully I'll recover. I think at the end of the month, I should clear the 2 weeks for COVID. After that, I should be okay. After that. So maybe I'll be on YouTube Live more because you guys are not responding too well with the short advice videos. But maybe you want a testimonial. You want to see the same day lay of another COVID-19 student next. I don't know what you guys want to see. But yeah, I do have a lot of backlog of videos that I'm posting because otherwise I'm not going to be posting shit all the time here. I just have to make nothing but YouTube Live. But you guys seem to like the YouTube Lives the most. That's why I see. You guys get the most clarity because when you watch my advice videos, you are watching it from a perspective of your own mental filter. Here, I can correct your mental filter and teach you stuff. Maybe this is a better way. That's why I think. When I feel a little bit better, I'll be here more. But today, originally, I was going to teach an inner circle class. I got the wrong infield to analyze, and I didn't get to fix my hair in the shave. I didn't have time. But I wanted to be on YouTube, or at least I wanted to be talking while I'm still dressed decently. Hope that makes sense. So there's no more questions. I guess is the end of it. I'm very disappointed there's only 4 likes. The reason why there's 4 likes is because you guys are not ready to assimilate yet. You're not assimilating. Remember, you are stealing their fucking body armor of your enemy. You're cutting off their fucking head, metaphorically speaking, of the guys. You're stealing their fashion, and you're infiltrating their fucking tribe. The in-tribe. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You are stealing their body armor. So this is why I dress like a white person, talk like a white person. I have not experienced any racism in my life ever because I'm so whitewashed. I've never experienced racism. Maybe when I was growing up, maybe there's one Australian guy going, "Oh, Bruce Lee, oh," like that's about it. Or you chink this, chink that. It's always from Australian. So that's the only racism I've experienced when I'm growing up. It's always from a fucking Australian. The Bolo or Bolo, whatever they're called, like Australians. Fuck them. But other than that, I have not experienced any racism whatsoever by being whitewashed. They always think I'm not Asian as in their tribe. White women are comfortable with me. I've never experienced racism. You're experiencing racism because you're afraid to assimilate. I talk like a white person. I act like I'm a white person underneath this Asian body. But for you guys, because your fucking pride, you don't want to assimilate. I would say put your pride aside and experience what it feels like to be whitewashed. When you have absolutely no racism in your life and no xenophobia, guess what happens? You start to raise your self-esteem. You're actually, the very thing you're holding on to, your goddamn fucking pride, your ego, is the only thing keeping you from getting the results that you should be getting. That's the only thing that's keeping you. Because you won't let go of being, because you think assimilation equals you're replaced. No. Assimilation means you get access to their white women faster. And who cares if you have an accent? You can have a fucking Chinese accent as long as you're tall, you're muscular, and dress okay, and confident. You'll be fine. And fix your fucking hair. Don't have this fucking Chinese shit. You're not a K-pop. You're not, okay, I'm gonna be real honest with you guys, okay? For some of the Asians out there who thinks you can have this K-pop or this hair down, unless you look like me or you look like a K-pop artist, you don't have any fucking right to have a hair like this. Because nest hair, they call it I forgot what it's called, weave, not a weave, but that's a black woman's hair. It's a bird's nest. It's like a fringe. They call this a fringe. They usually put some products and they do this kind of thing to it. Unless you look like a pretty boy type, don't even fucking try it. You're insane. You don't look like a K-pop artist. I do. You know, you guys can't pull it off. So why even try it? Are you insane? I can do it. You can't, because you're too ugly. No offense. Just worry about the height and worry about the muscles and worry about dressing like a whitewash person. That's all I say. Any more questions? If not, then that's it. Peace. And assimilate. Steal their fucking body armor. Rip off their heads like Genghis Khan. Shit down their fucking throats. Steal their fucking body armor and use it against the women. Metaphorically speaking. I can't legally say that.